Good morning. It's Friday, August 15th, 2014. This is Tech Talk Today, episode 43, a special Friday edition of the show. And joining me in studio is the lovely, the talented, the beautiful Angela Fisher. Hey, Andrews.
Here I am.
Hey, hi, Andrews.
I'm incredibly timely, too.
You are. We have some topics that it's very good to have you on board so we can get your perspective on them. Also, assembled is a very special Friday crew of our Mumble Consortium, our Mumble Council. Time-appropriate greetings, Mumble Room.
Hello.
Hello.
Time-appropriate greeting.
Hello. Universal time greeting is the other thing I'm supposed to say now. All right, let's start with our first story, one that's been developing over the entire week and one that we wanted to have a chance to talk about with you guys. And that was this startup that's starting to get a lot of attention. You guys have probably heard of the OnePlus phone, and you probably by now heard about their new campaign. So just for those of you who are not totally in the loop, just a little background here. The startup OnePlus recently launched its first smartphone, the One. And to deal with production issues, it's been letting people buy them by invitation only. Well, to sort of maybe get more marketing or to get more people involved, OnePlus began this sort of a crappy idea to begin with invitations only to buy a full-priced phone. They started a contest that asked women to draw the OnePlus logo on their body or a sheet of paper they're holding and then take a photo of themselves and post it in the OnePlus forums. From there, the 50 most liked will get a free T-shirt and the option of buying a full-priced phone.
Right.
OnePlus is calling it the Ladies First contest, and it's basically as awful as it sounds. To say nothing for the fact that the prize is merely opportunity to buy a full-priced phone, the entire conceit is the male fans of the OnePlus are honoring women by voting on them. In true gentleman fashion, OnePlus says, and because chivalry is not dead, we're giving the lovely ladies of OnePlus a chance to skip the invite. This is according to Jerry over at OnePlus. Jerry introduced the contest by writing, OnePlus wants to give a shout-out to a few but beautiful fans in our community. And as you probably would guess, the outrage from this has been pretty universal across the web because essentially what this devolves into is a bunch of men saying, oh, she's hot, she's not hot, she deserves a phone, she doesn't deserve a phone, she'd be hot if her hair didn't look like that. And people immediately respond as this is offensive, this is sexist, it's tone deaf. Oops. What do you think, Ange, as our female co-host?
Well, I don't think it's as sexist as people are taking it, and I still feel the same way I felt the other day.
Wednesday when we first talked about it and lost the recording.
Yeah, that maybe they want to focus their market on that particular type of person. I mean, if they wanted to get geeky guys, then they might have done a geeky guys first contest. Is that sexist? No.
See, I think part of the concern is that there's a real struggle right now to get more women involved in technology in general. And this sort of sends the message that, well, technology isn't the field for you. This is a boys' club.
This sends that message?
That's what people feel, yes.
No, it's the opposite. It's a boys' club, but we want to, or not but, and we want women to be involved. As Rick High pointed out, it's only women that want to participate in a contest like that. It's completely optional. Mm-hmm. It's not mandatory. They're not getting a free phone. They're just getting the invite. I mean, it's really not, So you
don't have a problem with the company encouraging sort of the denigration like this? Don't you feel denigrating a little bit? Like if you, because imagine what happens is you post something up there and then everybody just dogs on it. And
I don't.
Because they signed up for that punishment.
I don't think it's a punishment, but no, it's just a marketing tactic. This is America.
Yeah.
I don't know, actually. Are they in America?
Well, we'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
Mumble Room, do you guys have any reactions to the story so far?
Yeah, why can't they just sell the phone? Why do you have to have an invite?
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, because it's limited resources, I suppose, limited quantity or marketing.
So they're really popular enough that they need to have invites or else they would sell out. I guess I don't understand why it's still invite only.
Well, if you think about it, they're trying to
create artificial
some kind of
demand.
buzz.
Yeah, artificial demand.
Yeah. It's a marketing gimmick, and that's also, I think, sort of the callous and coldness of this, sort of the calculated nature that people feel like, well, this is a calculated move to generate controversy, to get people to talk about us.
Right, exactly.
But to your point, so first of all, we should say, by the time we are reporting on this, OnePlus has already shut down this campaign. They pulled it off after a few hours, actually. After letting the contest continue for about a few hours, OnePlus finally made the right decision to take the forum offline. This is according to a CNET post. In a blog post on its contest page, the company acknowledged the contest was in poor taste and called the community for ideas on how to better get women involved with technology.
Well, there we go. Yeah.
Okay, so some people are suggesting that the reason why this failed so badly, and the thing about OnePlus is they have a string of failed marketing things. That, like, they also had a campaign where smash your phone and send us a picture of your smashed phone, and then you might get entered to maybe get an invite.
Oh my gosh.
And people are like, "What? It's a waste of technology that could be given to the poor," all this kind of stuff.
Yes.
So they've had
that
some
is
tone
more
deaf.
offensive to me than this contest.
It has been suggested, and I'm not saying this is the cause, but it has been suggested that the OnePlus marketing group is based out of China. And in China, the ladies' first thing, because of their culture, wouldn't go sexy.
Sexist.
Well, it became sexist because we take it to a sexy place, right? Like
Right.
as a Western culture,
Yeah.
we make it all about the sex and the
Right.
but I guess in the Chinese culture, that wouldn't be the direction necessarily something like this would go.
Right.
And so it's a possibility there's just a tone mismatch between cultures.
That is a very good point, because if you recall, a couple years ago, I did the Flat Angela Awards
Yeah.
on Faux Show.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you guys to print a picture of me and next to you naked.
Yeah.
I told you to print out a picture of me and take me somewhere.
Yeah.
So
Where are
but
you going with this? Did
the
somebody
point
do
is
that?
interpretation. No, the point is
yeah,
interpretation.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you guys didn't think it was I mean, like, okay, if I was topless, maybe you would have thought.
Right.
But
Right.
I wasn't.
But in
you know.
some cultures, that
So-
might have been dirty, maybe, or something. Is that what you're saying?
No,
Like,
it
somebody
wouldn't
could have.
well, okay, so everybody that did the
Didn't,
competition
yeah.
didn't go
Right.
dirty.
Right.
And maybe they weren't intending for it to go dirty or to be sexist. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. When you're voting on the appearance of women, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just it's a boneheaded move,
Well,
and it shows what an amateur hour it is over there.
the other thing is that I mentioned on the other day is that it's really the voters that are sexist, not the company. The company wants to get more women involved, and yeah, that might be one way to do it. But it's the community that's voting that is ultimately sexist.
Yeah, I would just argue, though, that as the arbiter of that community, you kind of have to, it is your responsibility when you introduce things like that to make sure it promotes and fosters a healthy community.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Mumble Room, any closing thoughts on this topic before we move on to some really good news?
I think they wanted to incorporate women in the technology role or something like that. They could design a phone case where 10 women design phone cases and they vote on it or something like that.
Yeah, I do wish we could, like, we all talk about this problem a lot, but then it seems to be that we just keep screwing it up. We just keep screwing it up. So something, yeah.
And by it, you mean involving women.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like, it just seems like, I don't know. I like the idea of something that's more design-driven, something that's, using somebody's skill set, something like that. That would be interesting. All right, let's shift gears and talk about connectors. I know, but this is some really good news. Finally, a universal, reversible USB connector is on its way.
Woohoo!
Get ready for this one, Andrew. Same connector, both sides of the cable.
That is awesome.
I know. You ready for this one?
And not only do you not have to worry what end it is, but then you also don't need to know if it's up or down.
No. So
Awesome.
this is in the early stages still, but the USB Promoter Group has announced the great innovation, and the best innovation you might call it in the known universe, the Type-C USB connector, and it's finally ready for mass production. The USB Implementers Forum, a different group, will now take the Type-C spec and start building device cables and adapters to support the new reversible connector. We could begin to see Type-C USB devices over the next few months, but considering the lack of backwards compatibility with existing USB connectors and the requirement of adapters and the proliferation of micro USB for all the smartphones that use it for charging, it's going to be a long transition to the Type-C connector.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while.
I was just thinking, like, it would work with all of our current computer. No, it would not.
Needs a new plug. You can get an adapter, but then it runs at a slower speed.
And when you say adapter, I think of the
Like the-
PCI to serial or
Or
whatever.
no, think of like-
the little green adapters.
Think of the PS2 to USB.
that.
Think of like a 30-pin iPhone connector to Lightning.
Right.
Because it's about the same kind
Yeah.
of. The connector's about the same
Jeez.
size as the Lightning connector.
So have they shared this technology with computer manufacturers? So
They
can
will be.
start?
Yeah,
okay.
it'll be a standard. That's what's kind of cool about
Oh,
it.
okay, cool.
Yeah, and the other thing, the Type-C connector has a massive boost in its power that it can deliver. It can handle up to 100 watts, which means you could charge a laptop with a single USB cord. You could power an
Nice.
entire monitor. So now you could have one monitor, like that monitor you got me, and you could have a much bigger one. Because the problem with that is the reason why it's as small as it is because you just don't have any more power over USB.
requirements, yeah.
Right, but now you could have a monitor as big as the one in front of you right now,
Wow.
powered over a single USB connector and getting the display data over USB.
Do you think Apple's going to be on board with this?
I don't know. I think probably if Intel starts incorporating it with their motherboards, yeah,
Okay.
because it's just USB. They don't. I mean, they ship USB 3.0 right now.
Oh, I know, but I was thinking maybe they might.
Because they have Lightning.
People tend to
Yeah.
think that Apple copies
Well,
and enhances on an already existing or already thought up product.
I
And
kind of
could
feel like the Lightning adapter is what kicked this into gear.
Well, but I could see them coming out with a Lightning adapter
Yeah.
identical to this
Yeah.
that has the both sides. And,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You know.
This maybe I would think they would just use this. It's essentially two USB 3.01 super speeds connectors in one cable. Gets you 10 gigabits of bandwidth.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's gonna be rocking. Man, I cannot wait. I hate fiddling with USB, especially in the dark when I'm trying to plug my phone in before I lay down, and it's just all over the place. It is ridiculous. I'm ready for this, but Type-C is gonna be a little while. But that's all. We'll have more info in the show notes if you guys want to read up on that, because we got to talk about our next story.
Yeah.
I got to get your opinion on this, Ange.
Okay.
A report from Flurry, and Flurry is a mobile ad company. They have ad analytics in all of the applications that their ads are in, and they have millions of installs, a lot of really popular games. And according to their research, women are more engaged and spend more time than men in mobile games. This, according to this report, based on a sample of games that reach about 1.1 million devices on the Flurry platform, women actually make up 31%, or they make 31% more purchases in-app than men. And they also found they spend 35% more time in gaming apps and have 42% more attention and retention over 7 days compared to men. Often men will drop off after the third day or so of using a game app. Women will usually stick around for at least 7 days. Flurry notes the data is measured on a worldwide basis, but there is very little difference in the numbers when they look just at the U.S. The new report comes right on the heels of the Kim Kardashian app that has taken the world by storm. The New York
It's
Times.
ridiculous.
Get ready, Ange. You ready for this number? $1.6 million in revenue during the first 5 days of Kim Kardashian's game.
That is insane.
$200 million by the end of the year.
What is this world coming to?
Well, so what do you think? Are women more game addicts than men?
You know, I have had more time to think about this,
Mm-hmm.
and it has occurred to me that I am not in any kind of normal house with you. Okay? I think a lot of houses still just have one computer.
Go ahead. I'm just playing a little Farkle while you talk.
I think houses. All right, stop.
No, go ahead. I'm just playing a little Farkle. Go ahead.
I think houses typically just have one computer still.
Yeah.
And the guy is at the computer. And so the woman has no choice but
to
do something on their phone.
That's an interesting angle on that.
Yeah.
But I would say
guys are more into gaming, MMOs and...
Yeah, but every time you've gotten major hooked on a game, it has either been on a console or on a desktop.
True.
Because I have it.
I'm
here.
not a mobile gamer.
No, and that's fine. You don't need to be a mobile gamer.
Yeah.
Now, Poker Smash.
I'm pretty sure it's level 10 that I really like. It's kind of spooky sounding.
You want me to see if I can find it?
No, it's fine.
I have watched Ange go through a few games over the years, and for you don't game very much at all. But then when you do game, you're like a machine about it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it'll last quite a while. You really, really, really get pulled in.
Yeah.
Whereas I play a wider variety of games, but I do it more of like a little bit here, a little bit there, and I don't really ever get drawn in very much. I kind of wish I did. Because I watch you and I'm like, damn, look, go girl, go. Yeah. So I think that's an interesting insight that perhaps the men are hogging the computer essentially.
Yeah.
So they also broke down the time spent on the on different games by platform, and they looked at some of the games where men and women maybe spend the same amount of time or men pull ahead. So when you look at like males, they're passionate about certain types of games. You can break it down by different categories, but mainly it comes down to card battle games, strategy, tower defense, sports, and action RPG. Surprise, surprise. The hardcore games are the ones the guys like. However, when it comes to racing games, platformers, arcades, and physics and puzzlers, women and men are about split. Mm-hmm. They like them just about the same.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me, too.
Yep.
I think it's... Do you think there's a little tabooness around women spending... Like, I feel like it's acceptable for men to game a lot, but do you feel like there's a little taboo? Like, You're a mom. You shouldn't be gaming that much.
No, but I do have that thought about other moms. So the thing is that I think women are more into Facebook than men too. And Facebook does a pretty decent job of advertising and
Games constantly.
getting you to invite your friends to play these stupid Candy Crush and Sugar Saga, or I don't even know what they're called. I don't play those except for Farkle. My whole family was in on it. It was a fun time. But,
that was good.
But anyway, so again, that is just another area where women would then mobile game.
All right, let's punt this over to the Mumble Room.
Yeah.
You guys in there, what are your experiences? Anybody have a lady in their life that can get a little hooked on the games?
My wife is on level 520-something of Candy Crush.
Oh, my gosh.
She's hooked.
Wow.
That's
I've never
hooked.
even looked at the game. I don't even know what it's about.
Does she play it all the time?
All the time.
Yeah, that's a thing, isn't it? And the thing about the mobile is you have it with you all the time. Anybody else have any war stories?
No, not really. My wife plays Postal 2 and Amnesia, so
Nice.
not the
not
the casual gamer.
Ange actually could tear up a pretty mean game of Medal of Honor.
Yep.
Yeah, she got in. I mean, if you're okay with somebody who camps.
My nick is Hidden Andrews.
And she'd camp out in the bushes and then get you when you went by. All right, interesting enough. I'd like to hear the audience's thoughts on both the OnePlus story and this story. What are your take on it? They're both sort of different takes on the same type of topic. Now, Ange, before we get out of here today, we have a special moment info, don't we?
It's actually called What the Foe.
What the Foe, brand new segment right here we're doing from time to time on Tech Talk Today. And this one is kind of special because I used to be in IT support, and we've all been pestered by telemarketers.
Yes, it's a really good one. So Chris Blasco originally shared on G+. He said, "Today is a good day. I just had a call from a telemarketer. Did I yell at and scream at them, you ask? Certainly not. Like a good IT administrator, I put my skills to use for their benefit. Here's how the conversation went. The computer on this phone call said, press 9 to be press 9 to not be contacted in the future. Press 4 to speak to someone about your mortgage issues. So he pressed 4.
Yeah.
Then the telemarketer said, hello, are you having problems paying your mortgage? And he said, hi, this is the IT department. We intercepted your call as we detected a problem with your phone and need to fix it. The telemarketer said, oh, okay, well, what do we need to do? And then he said, we're going to need to fix the settings by pressing 4, 6, 8, and star at the same time. The telemarketer said, okay, nothing happened. Well, I imagine it would reset a Polycom.
Okay, yeah.
And when the telemarketer said, okay, nothing happened, he thought to himself, okay, he's not using a Polycom. So then he said, are you using the new Polycom phones that we deployed? And the telemarketer said, no, it's Yalink.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Okay, I see. You haven't had the new Polycom phone deployed to your desk yet. Let me check our technical documents for the Yalink. And then he did a quick Google search of Yalink phone factory reset. Then he said, all right, do you see an OK button on your phone? The telemarketer said, yes, I do. He said, all right, you're going to need to press and hold that button for 10 seconds. The telemarketer said, okay, pressing it now. And then he said, perfect. Let me know if you get a password request. The telemarketer said, okay, nothing has popped up yet. And then heard the click.
Click.
That's right. I made the telemarketer unwittingly factory reset his phone, which means he will be unable to make any more phone calls until someone is able to reconfigure his phone, and that will take at least an hour or longer if they can't do it right away. Ta-da! I saw that, and I just...
masterful. That's masterful.
It is practically flawless.
Now, here's what I learned after Wednesday's episode. And I went on here and I was joking about how we used to harass telemarketers by pretending like somebody's arm had been broken in the background, and we draw it out and make it agonizing for them. And then Lionhead said after the show, I used to do telemarketing. So, Lionhead, have you ever had anything kind of crazy like this happen to you?
No, I've been fortunate to not have that kind of thing. One tried to threaten me by, reporting me to the police, but nothing more than that.
Yeah. If you call here again, I'm gonna tell the cops. Yeah, it's you can't blame people for getting upset. They're in the middle of dinner and they get interrupted or something. But that's a great way to handle it because you're not just helping yourself out. You're helping out like a whole bunch of other people that guy was going to call for the next hour.
Yeah.
That's what's so genius about it. So we would like some faux what do we call it?
What the faux?
What the faux ideas, WTF.
Yes.
What the faux ideas. So send them into today@jupiterbroadcasting.com. If you've got a WTF, just put in the subject line WTF, and we'll make it a What the Faux segment in the future. Go over to jupiterbroadcasting.com, click the contact link, choose Tech Talk Today from the drop-down, WTF in the subject line, or techtalktoday.reddit.com, and then just in the link title, put WTF. And we might just have that in a future edition of Tech Talk Today. And before we run, I want to let folks know that if you would like to invest in the entire Jupiter Broadcasting Network and support all of the shows that we produce, you can go over to patreon.com/today and pledge. It's a monthly pledge. I have a recommended amount, about $3, but more or less is fine. We also have, down below, some preset pledge levels to give you an idea of what your contribution is going to, including a high-level pledge that will give you swag from time to time that we send out as part of a thank you for investing in the Jupiter Broadcasting Network. We're doing something nice every now and then for you guys. In fact, Angela has been working on something kind of cool for the swag pledgers.
Yep. So for both Unfilter and Tech Talk Today, if you want to become a swag level member for even if it's just a month, this would be the month to do it. For all successful August swag month payments, I will be sending out a customized swag to those people. So
very cool.
So if it's something that you
and what she's saying is if you wanted to jump in at the swag level for August and then drop down to one of the lower levels, that's totally cool.
Yep,
You're okay with that.
This would be the month to do that.
Just has to be a successful August transaction on the books.
Yep, which they run at, I believe, on the very last day of August, if it's not a Sunday, I'm sure.
So patreon.com/today. You got a little bit left to jump in for the month of August and get your swag.
It should be. It's going to be really cool.
That's awesome.
I'm excited for it.
It's a neat way to say thank you. Also, this show that's why we have it at patreon.com/today. This show is a way to say thank you for supporting the Jupiter Broadcasting Network. Now, that will wrap us up for the special Friday edition. I'll be back on Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, over at jblive.tv. Don't forget techtalktoday.reddit.com is where you can go to suggest stories. And today at jupiterbroadcasting.com is where you go to email me.
Yep.
All right, Andrews. I thought to wrap up, we're going to play a video, a commercial, if you will, that sort of represents how bad marketing has been at trying to introduce new technologies to women for a very long time. This has got to be one of the most sexist, ridiculous commercials I've ever seen, and shows you that it's not just OnePlus that continues to screw it up. It's the entire industry, and they've been screwing it up for a long time. Yep. Goodbye, everybody. See you back here next week.
Depending on how you drive and your car's condition, you can get incredible mileage from the Goodyear Custom Wide Tread Polyglass tire.
I've got 32,000 miles on my tires.
I've got 41,000 miles on my Polyglass.
But Polyglass means more than mileage when your wife has to drive alone. When a woman's at the wheel, Polyglass means more than mileage.